Hey Bills, and welcome to the brand new Game Maker Monday, where I'm to create a game from the bottom to the end. And let's jump right into it. The concept of the game I have in mind is a 2D platformer where you control a pea. So let's start by creating this little guy, this little fella. We start with the outline here. Like sort of, I want him sort of cartoony, but yeah. So that's what I'm trying to make it look like here. We want it in a green color here. And I think we want the outline actually, yes, and I think we will then use a darker color and a little more blue to make the shades on it, and that would be around here and then a little up here. And then we will use a little more yellow and lighter colors to make the highlights on it. This is the base of the pea, and then we're gonna blend it a little to make it a little more smooth. I don't want to use too many colors on it, so we want to keep it sort of simple here. And I think we will tweak the colors a little too, but let's first tweak this a little, like so. Great. I think we will take from dark here and then move it slightly up and slightly up and slightly up and slightly up. Maybe a little dark. We want it a little lighter. We want it to look a little more cute. So let's take the base color we want here again. We want it like this, I believe, and then we will go a little up, and let's start from the base color again then, and go a little down, and and then switch these colors. Not great enough, not great enough. No, we need this to be darker. We need it to be like here for the base color. And then the light there. Let's look. Great. Then just a little more darkness down here. so. Great, that's the base of the character then, and we're gonna give him some eyes. Maybe like so, or something like that. Nah, we want it a little more central, I believe. We try again. Like in here, maybe. And then like here, and like this, and something like that, I believe is the best. Maybe actually I will just use this as outline up here. Is that better? No, we keep it black outline for now. Yeah, no mouth for you today. Great. And then we want him to, just to give him a little more personality, I think we want him to blink. And that we will do again by hand. Like this. And this. And then completely closed eyes. Great. That's the blinking, mainly because just to, when it's standing still, we just want it to move a little, and that will be the blinking. And also, for example, when it lands, just to make it lands motion, instead of squeezing it or something like that, we just make it blink, so we can use these blinks multiple ways. Great. And then we want it to, like, when it's moving forward, it should look forward, just this little change there. And when it's in the air, it should look, if it's jumping, then on the way up it will look up, and then it will look down when it's on the way down. So that's where we're gonna make 2. And actually we'll just use this as a base. Forward, up, middle, down. Good. That was forward. And then we'll make him look forward. It will be a slight change here, but not too much. And then up. Middle. Like, oh, maybe actually so. And down. Great. Then we got what we want in the character right now, actually. We'll just center him, and his mask will be full image. Great. Let's quickly make some folders here. In game folder and player. Great. We do the same in objects. In game and player. And before continuing, I will just quickly explain how things work here in Game Maker. These up here are sprites, and that's the main part of the graphics you're gonna use in the game, where every sprite can be animated. And you can use these animations. You can shift between sprites and stuff like that. So that's the main part. What I did in here was just color, and the small squares I did like a checkboard pattern is for blending. It's called dithering, and this is one way of doing it. But the concept is just that you blend to another color, so you don't have to use like too many colors in between, so you don't have to make a full gradient. So yeah, that was that. The next thing out here is sounds. That's for both music and sound, in-game sounds and everything. We got backgrounds, which is sort of the same as sprites, except they are not animated, and they can be used for both backgrounds for the game and for sort of tile sets, which we're going to use later. So I will describe it then. Then there's paths, which we're not going to use here, but where you can, for example, make something move in a specific pattern. Scripts, it's small pieces of code I can make, so I can just call them in the objects, and then use them instead of writing the same code again and again and again. Then there's fonts. So when you write something in game, some text, you can make it look like you want it to. Timelines. Again, where you make something happen over a specific course of time. So that can be, for example, that, yeah, I might use it later, and then I will explain, but maybe I'm not, and then you'll learn it some other time. And then objects, which is the main thing of the Game Maker. Items. These are the ones that it can be players, it can be blocks, it can be everything. The one where you can interact with or just use to do different things. It's contain the code, and for example, if we make a object player normal and give it the standard sprite, you can add different events here, and then use I will just use code here inside to use it, but there is also these for beginners, and if you prefer to do that. But then you can add a code block here, and then you can write some code in. This is the create event, so this will do these things are right here when the object is created. And then we've got the rooms, which are where everything is taking place. So for now we will just place this guy here in the room. And when there is a room, you can start the game or try the game out. You can include files or use extensions. Extensions I'm not going to use. I'm not sure I'm going to include files yet. Maybe the music and stuff. But that will come when that comes. And then you can try the things you make. And for now, everything is coming is just a sprite keeping continuously loop in this room. But that will all change. First thing we're going to do here is make the setup settings by using the 2 slashes here. This is just text. It doesn't do anything. That's just for me to easily find out where in the code I am and stuff like that. So we will set the image speed, the speed which goes through the animation, to 0. Standard is 1, but we'll make it 0 so it just doesn't move by itself. And then we'll make another piece of code here where we'll make some variables, and one will be blink, and that will be false, and another will be in air, whether the player is in air or not. That will be false from the start. And then graph for gravity. There is in-game or in Game Maker variables like gravity and stuff, but I prefer to make my own system to make it work completely as I want it. So graph will be 0.7, I believe, is a good gravity, standard gravity I use often. And yeah, I used to use Game Maker a long time ago, making a few programs. I will link to them in the description of this video. But I never really, or I then stopped using it for a long time, and then I saw Game Maker Studio on Steam, and then I bought that. It was on sale. And I haven't really used the new one here a lot yet, but I have played a little around in it, and I know that there is some things that are pretty different. There's some functions that doesn't work anymore, because it needs to be usable on many devices now. But there is also some new functions that I don't know a lot about yet. But we'll see what we learn here. Then we want some vertical speed to be 0 and horizontal speed to be 0. And the way you define a variable is just by making an equal sign and then the value. False is the same as 0 and true is the same as 1. And that's just one way to write it. You can also make variables like name equals to, and then if you make it in these goose eyes, you can write, for example, he will be called Johnny, and then that's a variable storing his name. But you cannot then later say that name equals to 0, because that's two different sorts of variables. So that's something you have to keep an eye on. This isn't text, as I said before, it equals to 0, so this is just a specific way of using the 0. You see there is no goose eyes around this. If I did this, then it would be a text variable. Super! So now we got this sorted. We will go to the step event. That's every step in the game, every time everything redraws and everything. This is a step. And you can use step, or you can use begin step or end step. So you can sort it in that way. And we'll start by making one here called behavior. And in this one, we'll make one called blinking. And we'll do this by saying if, to start a question here, and then if blink equals to false. So if it's not blinking right now, then we'll make a block here, so it knows what will happen if that is true. Or to say, if it's true that blink is false, not if blink is true, but if it's true that blink is false. Great. And what we will make happen here is that if it's not blinking right now, then if it has closed eyes because it did blink, then it shall open them again. And we do that by saying that image index equals to how's this? I need to remember. I forgot this. Max of 0 and image index minus 0.5. What this does is that it will not go below 0, and if it goes below 0, it will be the same as making it the last frame in the image sequence in the sprite, but it will go to 0, so it will go to just having open eyes, or if it is more than 0, then it will just minus 0.5 from the image index. The image index is what the current frame is. And to make sure that if we're using one of the other animations or the other parts of the sprite up here, like for example the looking forward or up or down or whatever, then we need to make sure that it only does this if the image index is less than or equals to 3, or let's say less than 4. So we'll do that. So if image index is less than 4, then do this, and that will be open eyes. Good. And then we want it to blink. If 1 equals to, or if I random 100 equals to 1, then that's just if it will pick a random number from 0 to 100, and if that one is 1, then it will blink. Then blink equals to true. Then we will change the value of blink, the variable blink, to true. And we'll actually call this not blinking, and this one blinking. If blink equals true, then image index again, we actually want the whole stuff here, and then instead of open eyes, this will be close eyes, and still we want it to be less than 4, and the image index equals to max. Oh, and this will you min instead. Max is for maximum, min is for minimum, and then that will be 3.9, just to make sure that it's not gets to 4, and that will be image index plus 5. And then also in here we say if image index equals to always bigger than or equals to, no, if image index is bigger than 3, then it should stop blinking. So blink equals to false. And we'll just write stop there. So now it will, yeah, you'll see when we start here, it should blink randomly. And we'll close our eyes automatically. Great. And I believe this will be that for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you did, or like, or fail, or whatever you wish to do. I can't control your thoughts, or can I?